some drama in the opening hour and a bit of this race, and I'm sure there's plenty more to come. So Jamie Cartwright it is in command from Ed Aitken, Mark Williamson in third in the Mazda RX7 SP, Waters in fourth, Kusparis in fifth. That's an outstanding effort. The first of the Class B cars. Darren Palmer moving up the order now in the Ferrari. Just displaced Kusparis for sixth. Dean, Pulver, Church, Kilpatrick, Stupas round out the top 10.
The car, Terry Bosenjak, is getting in. You may recall this car retired very early last year, but a very different story in 1999. Just had a quick word to Terry. They say they'll get the full load of fuel on here and they can go through to the checkered flag. Now it's going to be a different story for the Porsche of Ed Aitken, so this car could be very well placed at the moment. 26 seconds gone so far on the stop. Williamson is out, Bosenjak strapped in, ready to go. We've got new tyres on the right-hand side of the car. The guy's topping up, looks like a little bit of oil. The Mazda RX-7, bonnet down. 39 seconds gone so far, so time ticking away. Terry Bosenjak out of the pits, 41 seconds.
And you can be assured he will muscle that car around the 6.2 kilometres of the Bathurst circuit and try and bridge the gap. Here we go. He's the man at the moment, really, isn't he?
Terry Bosenjak in the Mazda RX7 SP. Car built specifically for production car endurance racing. See that big wing on the back? Purpose built for turn 1 at Eastern Creek, a car designed specifically to win the Eastern Creek 12-hour race several years ago, which it did very effectively in the hands of Dick Johnson and John Bowe.
Big fuel tank capacity too, around 120, 130 litres, I think, Neil, for this car. So that's the reason why I can do a one-stop situation in a 3-hour race. Backing from Alcatel for this weekend, brought in by Mark Williamson, of course, who did some Volvo driving earlier this year. Now sees his career in GTV.
Well, Terry has just pulled out the quickest lap, Mark. You're his teammate. How are you feeling for the run to the checkered flag?
Well, Terry's doing a great job. I mean, he's under a little bit of pressure now from John in the Porsche. I'm sure he can keep it together. The lap times are pretty consistent. The car's going well. We didn't really need that pace car. We had quite a good strategy that put us a fair gap out in front. But nonetheless, I think Terry can do the job.
You pitted about, or you guys did the driver change about mid-race distance. You were confident at that stage of having enough fuel, there'll be no splash?
No, we're confident that that'll be the case. That's the strategy we've adopted all weekend, Greg. I mean, last year, you may remember the car was on pole, it was very quick. This year it's been a little slower, and that's been the strategy we've stuck to on purpose. And that is now coming into play at the end of the race, and really that's what it's all about. That's payday, isn't it?
So time now running out. Bosenjak still the race leader in the pool right. 3-hour showroom showdown from Mount Panorama. Faulkner in the Porsche. Second spot, yes, he's done a 227.8, I think it is.
I'm sure, John, on that previous lap he was held up in traffic.
Must have been, but the gap now is 7.6 seconds, but he's going to run out of time, nothing sure, unless Bosenjak strikes some serious problems. But the Mazda looks like it's still running very well.
Well, he's just about to come across the Chadwick entry, the Magna, and put another car between he and John Faulkner. So Faulkner is about to encounter more traffic as he climbs the mountain. Shell replay coming into held corner. John Faulkner coming on the inside. Oh, squeezes through on the inside of the Linton Simpson entry.
Right, and it's Bruce Linton in the car. He did the same thing to you, John Bowe, a couple of years ago, across the top of the mountain in the Ferrari.
Bit of deja vu. Bruce likes doing that.
Terry Bosenjak, your race leader in the Mazda RX7 SP. It's been a very steady run. And from quite a ways back, he looked like the guy that would take this one out purely for the Mazda RX7's performance and only having to stop once. And it looks like it is going to work out that way.
John, this was a car that was on pole position last year. He did a 225. We're not seeing quite those times out of Bosenjak this time around. Changes to the engine management system, do you think they've sacrificed a little bit of horsepower for perhaps more reliability?
Absolutely, Craig. When we did the 12-hour with the factory team, you could actually make the car go incredibly quick, but then it became thirstier and the reliability was a bit in question. But the ECU, the engine management system that we had for the 12-hour race was like you could drive the thing for 24 hours like that, and that's the spec it's got here, and it's obviously proved to be the right thing to have in this sort of race.
How would you compare the car to the Ferrari to drive around here? I mean, what's the difference between the two cars, the strengths and weaknesses?
Well, it's an easier car to drive than the Ferrari. It's not as quick as the Ferrari in outright pace, but it's very comfortable, very more road car-like. The Ferrari's a bit of a highly strung thoroughbred.
There's your Ford race score. Bosanjak and Williamson leading from this car. The Ed Aitken John Faulkner entry. Faulkner behind the wheel. Let's look as he comes across the line this time what the gap is. It's now down to 6.5 seconds.
He can actually see him now, I reckon.
Time is running out. We have less than 3 minutes to go. Basically 2 minutes 15 seconds left to run in this race.
Well, David Wood doing well in the XR8, the Southern Rural Ford dealer's car. The XR8 leading Class C from Guy Andrews. The XR6, then Knight's Mitsubishi Magna running third. So good battle right back through the field. And John, I guess good to see a Class C car in terms of a Ford leading outright too in that class.
Well, interesting tactics here too, because if Terry Bosanjak slows down, he's got a 6.5 second buffer. Now we've got 1 minute 45 remaining in this race. If he slows down enough, he could make this the last lap. If he keeps his pace, he may come across with literally 5 seconds to go, and he could have to go around and do another lap, which then gives John Faulkner an extra 6.2 kilometres chance at catching him.
You'd have to go for it, wouldn't you? You wouldn't dare slow down.
Interesting that the Cartwright Supra has dropped off the pace a little bit. 234s from McGill. That was a car that we saw consistently in the 28s, 29s and 30s. So McGill did do a high 26 in qualifying yesterday. So maybe some kind of problem developed with the car.
Anxious finishing moments here. 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining. We will wait and see. Surely Bosanjak, this is his final lap. As he goes down through the VB dipper, creeping towards Conrod Straight. Surely John Bowie'd have a look in the mirror and maybe just button off a little, soak up a bit more time.
I don't think he can afford to button off a little. In case like you see the traffic down that Conrod Straight, there are about 5 cars abreast then. He can't, look at this, he cannot afford to button off. Faulkner's got his scent, but I don't think he can get there.
He's got 3 cars ahead. Terry Bosanjak in the RX7. Heading down towards Challenge Chase, and 30 seconds remaining now. This is going to be so close.
He's going to have to do another lap, I reckon, won't he?
Yeah, I think he will. Unless he gets held up by these cars. Looking out at the commentary box, can't quite see where the start-finish line is. We're just a little too far up pit lane. But there you can see 15 seconds remaining. It will be so close on whether Terry Bosanjak has to go around and do another lap or not.
He's going to have to do another lap.
We wait and have a look, and no checkered flag.
He's going to do
another lap. Oh, this is it. And John Faulkner will be chasing hard. The gap is only 4.2 seconds. There is Faulkner, the yellow car, third in line. This will be a frantic last lap. Can John Faulkner catch?
And this is where you don't want a bunch of traffic in front of you, John Bow.
The sweat would be rolling into Boz's eyes at the moment.
Well, he missed the checkered flag by just 4 seconds, and that is the same margin that separates these guys 1 and 2. John Faulkner flashing the lights, puts the lights on the Porsche 911 on to indicate to the slower drivers he is on a charge. He's coming up on David Ratcliffe's Toyota Camry. Well, we will have a very good finish.
You've got
2 years in a row.
Understand John Faulkner's been racing all year in his Commodore, and Terry Bosanjak's only raced a couple of times, so John's very, very race sharp as well, so he'll carve the traffic probably better than Boz. So.
Well, last time around, Boz did a 228.7, Faulkner a 226.5. Coming up behind the Longhurst Andrews Class C car as Faulkner goes past.
Guy Andrews doing a good job there, giving Faulkner racing room. Coming up on, looks like, is it Peter Boylan and Ross Palmer car, the Quirks Mitsubishi Evo 5.
He's lost some time there.
Yeah, big time.
Big time. Look at this. Oh, dear.
Oh, thanks, Ross.
Good on you, Ross.
That's about it. John Faulkner will not catch Terry Bosanjak.
No way. The traffic's taking care of that. He's still behind.
Oh, look, he's boxed
what
in.
A joke.
Oh, dear.
I mean, this is unbelievable.
Well,
I think, honestly, the self-control that John Faulkner's showing now, I think he should get a knighthood.
Not something you do, JB?
I've got some self-control, but I think I would have lost a bit by then.
well,
Last year I had to blow the horn on them.
John Faulkner was in with a chance of catching Terry Bosanjak. It would have been close.
We've just been advised that we understand they may well have declared the race. The checkered flag did get hung out. Just being advised by race control, it was put out accidentally. The checkered flag has been taken.
Oh, well.
Just been advised from race control.
How about that? We got all excited about this last lap for nothing. Terry Bosanjak and Mark Williams
How could you put a checkered flag out accidentally? I thought you had done roll it and actually hang it over the fence.
And wait for someone to tell you to put it out.
Yes, exactly.
Nonetheless, what a great run by these guys. The Mazda RX-7,
Fantastic.
Terry Bosanjak will win the full ride 3-hour showroom showdown. Well done. And so he should be pleased. His co-driver Mark Williamson did a magnificent job in the first stint, and so too did this car coming across the line. The My Accessories Porsche 911, John Faulkner and Ed Aitken, they will be pleased. Perhaps a little disappointed towards the end. There's Mark Williamson and the whole team.
Well, great result for Mark Williamson. He brought Alcatel on board, the French telecommunications company, to fund this effort. The car, of course, on pole last year only did 2 or 3 laps. Great to see Bosanjak and him come back and finally take another victory. Yet another victory for Mazda.